Good morning. Good morning. Hold on just a minute, folks. Hold on, folks. I had to get the constant. Hang on. I can tell you who I am, what the show's about, and everything in like 30 seconds if you will just wait out there, America. Okay. In the case of removal of the president from office or his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote by both houses of Congress, be the House and the Senate, okay? Whenever the president transmits to the president pro temp of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the duties, the powers and duties of the office, and until they transmit to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president. Let's see, that's the 25th. Oh, okay, all right. I just had to get into the Constitution. I mean, yesterday should have been Constitution Day. I mean, the 25th Amendment. I told you yesterday. Let me get to the opening of the show. Maybe I should open the show. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you ever would like to contact the show, don't be an anonymous source, you damn cowards out there. Put your name on it, damn it. Sorry. I'm going to try to back up. Let me try to introduce the show. I don't want no anonymous. Don't send me anonymous nothing. Anyhow, you can follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, at FYNTV. You can send me an email at chief@fetchernews.com. If you got the nerve, sign your damn name. 706-889-9700. Well, Brett Kavanaugh had to pull out the Constitution because we have members of the Judicial Committee or whoever they are that does the hearings that they don't even know what the Constitution is. Let me just say this and we'll move on from the Supreme Court confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh. Forget all the drama. Let me do this one real quick. Forget all the drama. Forget the fact that they were trying to pin him down any way they can. Put up picture number. I have it here. It'll show, wait, my computer's bringing the pictures up. When it does, I'll let you know what number I want. But despite the fact, okay, that, hold on, man, I got to get these pictures up or the show can't go on. You can't go on with the show, folks, if the pictures don't come up. All right, put up number, well, that picture still hasn't come up. Huh. See which one it is. Despite the fact that they, said to Brett Kavanaugh yesterday, basically, we've been following you in every coffee shop. We know somewhere, somehow. Put up picture number 17. Kamala Harris from California. The second, you got Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris from California. Mr. Kavanaugh, you ever sit in somebody's office and drink coffee and Mueller's name comes up? Have you ever been in the middle of a room when Chief Special Counsel Robert Mueller's name has come up? Have you? Are you sure you haven't been in line at a coffee shop and two people in front of you were not talking about the Russian investigation? Are you sure? Are you sure? I don't have time for that. That's all you're getting today. Okay? Kavanaugh had to pull out the Constitution all day yesterday, and I will tell you this. If you want to learn, and I use the word learn, okay, because I enjoy that too, okay? If you want to learn what a Supreme Court confirmation hearing is about. Okay? It should be about your senators of the United States of America confirming that the individual that's going on the bench of the court has a firm grip on this, the Constitution. Mike Lee. That's all I want to recommend. We're going to move on from that. We'll get back to it later. Mike Lee, senator from Utah, and Brett Kavanaugh's 30 Minutes is a class on constitutional, the confirmation hearings for a Supreme Court justice and how to apply the Constitution to the rulings and what's it mean to the Supreme Court. That's a class. Take that 30 minutes. Forget Leahy, Patrick Leahy. Forget Cory Booker. Forget Feinstein. Forget all of that. All right? That's a class. Mike Lee, senator from Utah, and Brett Kavanaugh. That was an enjoyable half hour for me yesterday. Okay, now, moving right along, I have a question for you. Do you think it's a coincidence? Now, this is serious, okay? This is serious. Carlos Corners at 8:30. Do you think it's a coincidence? Now, I know what's going to happen. McCain dies, okay? McCain dies. I said on this show, perfect timing. Did I not? I said, wasn't it perfect timing when McCain died? Okay? Then there was the bipartisan funeral timed perfect. Saturday before Labor Day, right? The bipartisan funeral in that cathedral. Invitation only or written for the deep state. I know. You could take anything you want at me, but I'm going to tell you, the gloves have to come off. They have to, folks. The New York Times, Washington Post, Bob Woodward, they have to come off, and they have to come off now. You can't hide behind your fear of standing up. Oh, damn, that was a book title this week. You can't hide behind your fear of getting involved and worried about what someone will think at the risk of this country. That's how serious this is for your children and grandchildren. So you think it's a coincidence McCain died just in time for the Saturday kumbaya? You think it's a coincidence that it was boy, girl, boy, girl? You think it's a coincidence that he made everybody sit next to each other and play nice? The invitation-only funeral. You think it's a coincidence that we're better than this, we're better than this, we're better than this? Okay, you think it's a coincidence Barack and George and Henry Kissinger? You think it's all a coincidence? I don't know. I want to know from you. Then, after that awesome bipartisan funeral, timed perfect for a Saturday morning. Saturday morning, you have nothing else to do, getting ready to go out. Boom. And then you have Labor Day, and then you have Tuesday. This is just Thursday, folks. Just Thursday. We are 8 weeks and 5 days away from Election Day. I told you what Tuesday would be. Did I not last week tell you? 2 weeks ago tell you? 3 weeks ago when people were saying, how come you're not talking about the election? I'm telling you what. Tuesday will come, folks. And it's going to come blazing and roaring in. So you think it's a coincidence? Tuesday, Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court Justice confirmation hearings take place. And Bob Woodward's book drops. And then Wednesday, as they're rolling out the book, okay, the New York Times yesterday takes a journalistic standard knee. Why? They were inspired. Do you think it's a coincidence that Nike's commercial campaign is this week? I know, I've lost my damn mind, right? You think it's a coincidence tonight the NFL opens up with Kaepernick's commercial. Why Nike and John McCain inspired some young person in the White House staff or the upper echelons of the administration to rush to the New York Times. And the editorial board of the New York Times said, hey, it's against all journalistic standards to publish an anonymous op-ed, but you know, we see a need here. So we're going to take a knee. We're going to take a knee. And we're going to do what we should not. That is, everybody's unknown for. We're going to do it first. And then you're going to have people like Mike Barnacle. Let's put up number, let's just find, where's this jackass? Number 4. Put up number 4. And you're going to have, I think he's with the Boston Globe. Then you're going to have America's Sweethearts. Well, go to Muskrat Love. Let's go to just number 1. So America's Sweethearts came on this morning. Oh, there they are. Are they not sweet? I mean, there's Muskrat Joe and Muskrat Minka. Muskrat Love, and they came on this morning, and they were glowing, and they went over to number 4. Go to number 4. Mike Barnacle. Now, I think he's from the Boston Globe, right? And they ask him, what do you think? And Barnacle says, well, it's against all journalistic standards to do this, and it's wrong. But we can't gloss over the content. The content overshadows breaking all the journalistic rules. Now, folks, so we're talking about the op-ed, obviously, that somebody did not have the nerve to put their name on in the New York Times published yesterday that says they're inside the White House and they are the resistance. And despite all the good, Trump's a bumbling idiot, okay? It's bumbling idiot day 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, 30. Yes, bumbling idiot number 3 for Donald Trump. So this person, I will tell you this: if you are attending, if your major today is journalism, and you're attending classes, and your instructor, professor, whoever the hell it is up front, ask them this morning in that class. Going to school for journalism, ask them in that class if they think, according to journalistic standards, that what the New York Times did is correct in publishing an anonymous op-ed. If the instructor at the front says, yes, get up and walk out. Get up and walk out and help save America. That's how drastic this is. Get up and walk out, okay? If you are in a class this morning and they say, you know what, and somebody says to you, oh, if you do well, you can inspire to write one day for the New York Times, get up and walk out. Okay? So anyhow, they go to, just go to number 19 there. And number 19, they bring up John Brennan, okay? And Brennan is asked, Brennan states, now this is former CIA director John Brennan this morning, okay, on MSNBC. And Brennan states, he makes reference to McCain's funeral, okay? Oh, they're all making reference to McCain's funeral. And this must have inspired this individual, okay, to do this. And so they went to Brennan for the psychological profile on Trump. And Brennan said the psychological profile here on the president is the walls are collapsing around him. The walls are collapsing around him. Or would that also be known as the deep state? I know people don't like to hear that. The deep state, I call it the Empire Strikes Back. So Brendan says the psychological profile is the walls are collapsing around him. This may lead him to do something rash. Don't rule out a distraction. Now, what was upsetting there to me is I really think, let's say the president's temperament, just for argument's sake, is that bad. I really think that there's a group of people that are trying everything to provoke the president in exploding. They're trying to do everything they can to get Donald Trump to lose the ultimate cool, right? Just in time for election. The ultimate cool, all right? They would not have a problem today. They think every time they do something, Trump does something else to take it off the front page. They're waiting for Trump to bomb somewhere. That is why the comments made about killing the leader of Syria, Assad, all right? They are hoping he will lose his cool and just explode. They're hoping for something major right now. And they're trying to provoke it. All of these things are, you know, I have to tell you like this. Don't take this wrong. But it's like fireworks. Now, I don't know the grand finale, how long it'll last. Okay? But they are dropping bombs left and right. And I told you it would come Tuesday. Yesterday, I told you dementia. They're talking he's not well. They're talking 25th Amendment because this op-ed, this individual that we don't know about that actually could be the doorman over at the State Department with a badge that has a clearance that calls himself top level. We don't know who it actually is. But we know that this individual in the New York Times wrote an op-ed, did not put their name, and even stated, hey, you know what? There was talk in the room, or there was talk about invoking the 25th Amendment, right? They tried to bring that up with Reagan. They said Reagan was in there and he didn't know what was going on. Don't get caught off guard of what's next. Don't get caught off guard what's next, because it's an inside job here in the White House. And they're involved. Yes, they are. The deep state media is involved. Now, this I know. Look it up. The New York Times sat on this for weeks. I'm just going to throw out there, I've heard upwards of 10 days. I don't know, 7, 8, 9 days, 2 weeks, whatever. But look it up. The New York Times sat on this. Now, in the news business, because we are in the news business here, okay, it is not uncommon to have the thought of when is the most opportune time to release a story. Okay? It happens. People think, when will I get the maximum exposure? When should I release this? Before Labor Day when I have it and nobody's paying attention? Or am I in cahoots with other deep state media outlets that I let the Post go first with Woodward, and I'm the second punch with this anonymous op-ed right after the McCain funeral that all the networks carry? So we'll let the networks lead with the McCain funeral and the Sunday morning laying out all of the, talking points. The Washington Post will come in Tuesday, okay, and drop their bomb with Woodward in his book. The New York Times will follow it up Wednesday with this anonymous op-ed, while the networks then double back and try to make a fool out of Brett Kavanaugh in the hearings. Really? You don't see any of that? It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days in, 8 weeks and 5 days. It's election. The economy is doing so well that even Kaepernick found a job. That's how well the economy's doing. Okay, let me say this. This explains everything. So this explains everything. So let me do a couple more picks here. And go to number 14. All right. Volcanic. Yesterday, I don't know if you, when they asked, volcanic, Trump lashes out over New York Times op-ed. Trust me, volcanic is something they want to see. And I want to go to, and I'm going to give you the numbers here, Josh. I'm getting up here to where I want to go to give me, and we're going to read just a couple quick quotes here from the New York Times. Let's go to number 9. Number 9. I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. Many of the senior officials in his own administration are working diligently from within to frustrate parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. We believe our first duty is to the country, and the president continues to act in a manner that is detrimental to the health of our Republican. Translated is the deep state believes it's their first duty to maintain the deep state, and Donald Trump has gone in and he's identified the swamp. Period. That's all that says. We in the administration. Now, here's what you need to know before we get to Carla's Corner. You need to know is so many people work for the government, administration after administration. So many people are in different kind of logistics and different kind of roles that they are there despite what they believe because they're an analyst, okay? And they're good at it. They don't call them in and say, hey, are you that deep state so-and-so? Are you an analyst? It's on the resume. That's what they need done that day. Or they need whatever. And that's some of the people that are in some of these administrations. And it happens in every one. Let's go to another one. I am part of the resistance. Let's go to number 10. Number 10, I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. Senior officials will privately admit their daily disbelief at the commander-in-chief's comments and actions. Most are working to insulate their operation from his whims, okay? Meetings with him veer off topic and off the rails. He engages in repetitive rants, and his impulsiveness results in half-baked, ill-informed, and occasionally reckless decisions that have been walked back. No, Amanda, that is not a meeting with me, okay? They think I just described a meeting with me. We have a meeting around here, and all of a sudden I say, let me tell you a story, and I start rolling like, oh, hell, we got to hear a story, all right? What year is this? We're going to hear a story. Oh, no, is he going to go off the rails again? I mean, they check me for dementia 3 times a week around here, okay? Early stages. And let's go to number 11. America should know there are adults in the room. We fully recognize what is happening, and we are trying to do what's right, even when Donald Trump won't. Okay, and let me go to one more here that I want to just show you quickly, and then I'll make a comment. Go to number 8. Number 8, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan. They know. They've known this all along. They know. Actually, they're, in the words of the deep state media, they're happy it's out. It's what most people have known all along. So here's the thing, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to break this down into full detail at 9 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. But this explains everything. That's right. It explains everything. While you were wondering out there why the economy is at 4.2. See, the Democrats need a way to explain the good economy. and they can't. And they need a way to campaign against the economy or campaign that the economy's in spite of Donald Trump. Exactly right. Everything you have seen since McCain died are all clips that are ready for election. You wait till you see those campaigns ads that say, even high-ranking administrative officials say, thank God there's adults in the room. And in spite of Donald Trump, the economy is doing well. Somebody has to run the place. What about that commercial? Somebody has to run the place. Because we all know what's going on in the chaotic White House. It explains everything for them to the voters that they're going to try to use. You understand? Period. Explains everything. 4.2 GDP, well, that's in spite of Trump. If we didn't have somebody in the White House that every time Trump turned his back to watch, Bugs Bunny cartoons, they did the right thing. You wouldn't have regulations. That's in spite of Trump. I mean, Trump was upstairs watching the Three Stooges, and we quickly shuffled the regulations up top when he signed it, and he didn't realize what he was signing. Oh, that explains everything. In spite of Donald Trump. We are going to break this down into such detail at 9 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. I'm your host, BKP. When we come back, it's time for Carla's Corner. And then back at 9 o'clock, we're going to break this down because it explains everything. I told you it was going to get nasty, folks. Is it live or Memorex? Remember the commercial, live or Memorex? Right? Coincidence or conspiracy? I don't know. Just saying. Take us a break.